continue to carry a very high mortality depending on the extent of burns, particularly anything above 60% still carries a high mortality. And predominantly it is because of the severe infections and later on by the hospital acquired infections. So I would like to ask you that how quickly the infection occurs in a burn patient, and is it related to the extent or the degree of burns?
Yeah, typically you start seeing infections after 4 to 5 days of hospital admission, because early on a burn is more or less sterile because of the heat that the burn engenders. And the greater the surface area of the burn, the greater the risk of infection. The cutoff point seems to be about 15 to 20%, beyond which the rate of infection goes up with each percentage increase in BSA.
And just by looking at it, is it possible to distinguish the colonization from infection?
You can say that if you have features of infection, like for instance blue-green discharge, a malodorous smell, or signs of erythema, there is infection. But a clean wound burn is, you cannot always say there is no infection. If you suspect, you have to do a burn biopsy, a burn wound biopsy.
You know, I mean, I have heard you saying about burn wound biopsy, but I hardly see anybody practicing burn wound biopsy. I mean, is it really practiced?
It is, but I agree that many surgeons tend to avoid doing this practice, mainly because the ABA has given a clinical criteria, improvement in a burn wound appearance after starting antibiotics, as an acceptable criterion. So people tend to do that. The downside is you may often end up using a lot of empirical unnecessary antibiotics, which may impact your antibiotic resistance profile and future infections.
So what do you feel is the most important factor which can change the outcome in these patients?
Good infection control. It is important to have a specialized burn unit set up for that practice, because these are high risk patients without any BSA. Whatever is there in your ICU will get into their system unless there is scrupulous infection control. Clean air, one-on-one nursing, cohort nursing, and very clear standards when you do lines and procedures. So infection control is the #1 thing for a burn wound ICU.
And I think that's what is responsible for the mortality in the patients.
That's true, correct.
And just talking about a little bit about our trauma patients. How to prevent infections in a trauma patient? Again, the same principle would apply. And I'm asking you about the neurotrauma patients.
Neurotrauma patients, there are a couple of issues. The first one is whenever they have any devices, for instance, an intracranial pressure monitor or a ventriculostomy device, it has to be put in as a surgery, either in theater or at the bedside, whichever is appropriate. The second thing is, at the earliest sign of any SIRS sepsis, get a CSF analysis. That clearly takes the CNS out of your differential diagnosis and is the only foolproof way to avoid missing a device-associated meningitis.
So I think it is the infection control which is very, very important to prevent the outcome in patient of, to have a good outcome rather in a patient of burns or trauma. So I think you should have a very strict infection control measure in your setup, in your ICU, in your burn unit, to have a good outcome in these patients. Thank you.
Thank you.